The train from Lyon slowed into Val d'Arly just as snow began to sift through the evening like powdered sugar over a burned cake. I watched the glass fog and traced a circle, a habit from surveillance days I was supposed to have left behind. Across the aisle, Camille pretended to read. She didn't have to say it. The call that dragged us out of Paris hung between us. François, our old source, had resurfaced after a year underground, whispering about stolen isotopes, a delivery van, and a politician with a grudge. We stepped onto the platform into a cold that tasted of iron. The valley was quiet in the way small alpine towns are quiet on a weekday evening before ski season. A single bar glowed near the mairie. Our local contact, a gendarme named Roussel, was late. He had promised a safe flat and a burner phone. His messages had ended with an address, a cat emoji, and, ominously, nothing else. "Cats?" Camille asked, hauling her duffel. "He thinks it's cute," I said. "Or he's bored." We followed the street past shuttered chalets to a first-floor studio above a bakery. The door wasn't locked. Inside, heat pulsed from old radiators. 2 cups steamed on a table. Someone's breath had fogged the window. "Roussel," I called. A sound from the bathroom, the knock of a pipe, a soft curse. A man emerged, not Roussel. Younger, lean, hair buzzed to the skull, a faded hoodie with an American college logo. He kept his hands visible but near his hips. "Don't freak out," he said in accented French. "I'm the cat." Camille's laugh died before it arrived. My hand hovered near the compact pistol I wasn't legally carrying. "Name," I said. "Mathis. Roussel's cousin. He said you would not come if he wrote, nephew. Something about agents and nephews." He shrugged. "He asked me to prep the flat and vanish. But the men in the bar were watching you." I peered through the lace curtain. 2 figures in bright ski jackets stood outside, faces upturned, the way tourists stare at church towers. Except tourists don't stand like goalkeepers. One raised a phone, pretending to photograph a wreath of lights. "Who are they?" Camille murmured. "Delivery guys," Mathis said. "They drive for a lab supplier in On-Sea. I've seen them twice this week, always with the same grey van, always late. Roussel told me to send you this." He slid a key fob across the table, the kind that opens a remote garage. "Under the bakery is a freight lift." He said, "If I'm not here by dusk, take them down." "Down where?" I asked. "The tunnels," Mathis said. "Old service corridors from when this place used to keep cold rooms for cheese. They go under half the town." The men in jackets were moving now, splitting like practice dancers, one toward the side alley, one toward the front door. Somewhere far off, a siren bled into the snowy air. I felt that familiar, unwelcome jolt, the moment when a plan stops being theoretical and becomes the street under your shoes. "Pack light," I told Camille. "Leave the civility." Mathis clicked the fob. The floor thrummed faintly. The smell of yeast and butter grew stronger, as if the ovens below had opened to exhale. We slipped out the back, through a short, cold stairwell fenced with crates, into a tiled service room. The lift waited, a metal mouth. Above us, footsteps thundered on the stair. Camille hit the button, and the doors clanged shut on daylight above. The lift shivered as it descended, an old vertebra under new weight. The ceiling bulb flickered, smearing our faces. I smelled ammoniac stone and old milk. When the doors parted, cold rushed us. Chalk walls, metal racks, wooden boards furred with pale fungi, the town's abandoned cheese maze. "Romantic," Camille said. "Your Alps." "Romance sells lies," I said. Lies move freight. Mathis took us to a mesh gate, unlocking it with a cylinder key. The corridor beyond was wired with bare bulbs and dust. The ground trembled faintly, the bakery or trucks up on the route. He moved with the quick stillness of someone raised between swinging kitchen doors. "Francois called 2 days ago," he said. He told Roussel a van would cross before the weekend. "There's a ranger station on the ridge above the lake. Off-season entrance, used for supplies. They switch plates there." "Why call now?" Camille asked. "He said he was tired," Mathis said, "and the buyer makes people vanish." At a fork, we paused. Left, a crooked door. Right, a low tunnel. Roussel's blurry map, 2 photos and a cat doodle, said the freight lift led to B3, then a culvert near the river. I pointed right. Fewer cameras. Camille lifted a hand. "Listen." From above, a thump, the ring of a crowbar. Our watchers had found the back stairs. We moved. Breath white in our headlamps, bags scraping stone. Water dripped with the patience of geology. Graffiti bloomed in English, Heartbreaker, Marie plus Nico 2017, and a fresh trefoil radiation symbol in marker. "Cute joke," Mathis said, not smiling. At the culvert, a grate showed diagonal threads of falling snow. Outside, the river hissed tight and cold. I pressed an ear to the wall. A low hum, not wind. "Engines." "Van," Camille mouthed. We killed our lights. A rectangle of grey slid past like an eyelid. 2 silhouettes in the cab. A second, lower vehicle behind. The convoy idled beyond our slit of view. Doors popped. Boots ticked on ice. A man spoke on a phone, his French clean and Parisian. "Plates switched," he said. 10 minutes. The ridge might ice. "Tell her we'll make the handoff by 21. Tell her." Cold bit through my jeans. I worked the grate with a flat bar. The screws grudged but moved. Mathis watched the tunnel behind us. Camille counted down on her fingers. We slipped into the river air, breath snatched by wet cold. The van's rear doors yawned. Inside, blue coolers sat belted like VIPs. 2 men smoked, bored. The hatchback idled with lights off. On the hill, the ranger station showed 1 yellow window. "Francois," I whispered to the dark. Nothing. The nearest smoker stamped and turned. He wasn't a delivery guy. He had the posture of someone who slept in cars. Camille squeezed my arm. "We can't grab both." "We don't need both," I said, pointing to the drain pipe that ran from the culvert. "We need a sample and leverage." "Leverage on who?" Mathis asked. "Whoever her is," I said. "We'll make her call us." I tore duct tape into a loop, wrapped my phone in it, and slid it down the drain pipe, camera peeking. Live view flared. Boots, the van's plate, cooler labels, codes and a biohazard triangle. Camille palmed a broken brick. Mathis found a rusted valve. "On 3, I said. "Valve, brick, camera." The valve screamed, vomiting river water. The smoker swore, turning. Camille's brick smacked the hatchback hood. Its alarm coughed awake. In the chaos, I dropped, rolled to the van, sliced a cooler strap, and slipped a vial into my pocket and bolted. We ran along the river toward the Ranger Road, feet slipping on crusted ice. Behind us, the hatchback's alarm died, replaced by orders and swinging headlights. The vial burned cold against my thigh, a fragile truth I didn't yet understand. The station sat on a knoll above the switchback, an old A-frame, snowblower under tarp, split beach stacked, a broom pinned to the porch rail. One yellow window made the place look like a tired eye. "Unlocked," Mathis whispered. Inside smelled of pine cleaner. Maps of the valley, forest parcels, avalanche zones, the lake's elbow bend, hung over a counter. A wood stove crouched like a dog. Camille killed the light. "Call her," she said. I photographed the vial beside my passport and the van plate on my taped phone, then sent both to Roussel with a cat and a question mark. I called François. No answer. On the second try, a whisper. "You idiots. You came. You called," I said. "Who is she?" He breathed into the line. "One of the men is named Colin. Used to be CA. Now he reports to the prefecture and moonlights with a para-security team that thinks it's a rugby club. Their sponsor is a woman you've interviewed." "The minister?" "No. The deputy mayor of Annecy. Ex-board at Mont Blanc Biofarm. They want short-lived isotopes, easy to account for, hard to trace. They say it's for calibration. It isn't." "What then?" "You don't want to know," François said. "But you will when you see what they paid for the van." A car door thunked outside. Footsteps, then a knuckle at the glass. "Gendarmerie," a man called. "Open, please." We held still. The lock turned. A Parker filled the doorway, radio hissing. "Sergeant Barden," he said, hands out. "I mean you no harm. Your messages reached the wrong people. The deputy mayor already knows. Roussel told me to move you before her men do." "Prove it," Camille said. He turned his radio. Roussel's voice crackled, rushed. "Take them to the old avalanche shack. Not the station, not the mairie. They planted a tracker under the bakery. Barden, use the upper track. And Mathis, tell your mother I want her casserole dish back." Mathis snorted. Barden smiled, small and tired. "There's a back door," he said. "But not together. 2 cars look like a convoy. One of you takes my car. The others take the ranger snowmobile and cut across the meadow. Rendezvous at the pylons above the dam." "Give me 5 minutes," I said. "I'm calling her." I dialed the deputy mayor's office. A recorded list, then a human who tried to schedule me for Thursday. I texted the vial photo to the same number, then the van plate, then a live shot of the station window. The phone rang back in under 10 seconds. A woman's voice, bright and practiced. "You've confused logistics for malice, monsieur. Stand down and return the cooler." "I took a vial, not a cooler," I said. "Meet me and I'll give you context." "Where?" she asked. "The avalanche shack," I said. "Tonight. Come alone. If I see your rugby club, the vial goes in the river." A pause long enough to feel like weather. 21:30, she said. "Don't be theatrical. It's provincial." Barden checked his watch. 20 minutes to get above the dam. "Mathis with me," Camille said, nodding at the snowmobile. "You ride with Barden." I pocketed the vial. Outside, wind rose. Blown snow scraped the porch. We killed the light, stepped into blue dark, and split without ceremony, the way people plan to meet an hour later, if lucky. The avalanche shack was a timber rectangle half buried in drift, roof chained to the slope. A sign warned not for shelter. Inside smelled of mice and diesel. A bench, shovels, a laminated chart of snow layers. Pylons walked the valley beyond the window like iron priests. Barden's car idled under firs. Camille arrived on the snowmobile with Mathis. Both rhymed with frost. A minute later, a headlight climbed the service track, then clicked off. The hatchback rolled the last meters in darkness. She stepped out alone, City wool under a technical parka, hair tied, breath pluming. Up close she looked more administrator than villain. You wanted context, she said. Coolers, I said. She set a folder on the bench. Manifests, QR printouts. Fluorine 18 for pet, she said. Short half-life. We move at night because a shipment was hijacked. Verify with Grenoble. Then the plate switch? Camille asked. Because thieves learn timetables, she said. And because your friend Francois sells us protection. He stages threats, nudges the prefecture, invoices our contractor. Tonight he arranged a hijack he could heroically stop, for a fee. I took out the vial. Label says calibration. For the hospital, she said. Open the folder. Purchase orders there. Snow hissed at the window like sand. Down valley, an engine revved, then cut. Colin, I asked. Colin freelances, she said. He used to be my mess. Lately he's been Francois'. The door opened. Barden slipped in, wind-burned, eyes white around the irises. 2 cars on the track, he said. No plates. 3 minutes. We all looked at the vial, the way people watch a fuse. In my pocket it had felt like leverage. Here it felt like time. A shape filled the door. Francois. Thinner, hands shaking. Put the vial down, he said. They'll break this place. Give it to me, and I'll walk them away. Hello, Francois, the deputy mayor said, weary. How much does it cost to scare a valley now? He ignored her, eyes on me. Engines rose outside, 2 notes hunting harmony. Open the stove, I said. Camille hauled the wood stove door. Darkness like a well. I held the vial over it and looked at each of them. Everyone keeps their jobs, I said. No scandal. The hospital gets scans. Francois walks, but broke. Next time you move medicine with police, not rugby cosplay. Colin goes home cold. You can't bargain with an isotope, Francois said. That's the point, I said, and let the vial drop. Glass ticked iron. Nothing dramatic, just colder air, as if the shack exhaled. The deputy mayor's lips moved. Prayer or mouth. Outside, engines slowed. 1 car turned toward the pines. The other idled, then reversed and glided away. In the stove ash, the vial lay like a tiny moon. Wise? Barden asked. No, I said. Fast. The deputy mayor gathered her folder. You'll get nothing printable from me, she said. But the clinic downriver will find a grant. Call it logistics. She left alone. Barden watched Mathis with fatherly exasperation no radio could fake. Camille leaned on the wall. Do we tell Paris? She asked. We tell the hospital to check the order, I said, and tell nobody what we thought we saw. By morning the wind had scrubbed the valley clean. Down in town, the tunnels breathed warm bread. On the bakery door, Roussel had taped a note with a cat. Casserole dish returned, favor owed. The rest, engines in the dark, a vial cooling in ash, could be explained or not, depending on who needed the story and who needed the truth. In France, explanations travel faster than proof ever does.